Hi, I'm Ken Whitehurst, and today I'll be sharing with you one of the world's most historical speeches, seen in the Lincoln Memorial and also displayed in the White House, the Gettysburg Address, November 19, 1863, Abraham Lincoln. It reads, "Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth this continent, a new nation, conceived in the liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can endure. We are met at a great battlefield of that war. We have come to a dedicated portion of that field as a final resting place for those who have given their lives to that nation so that that nation might live. It is altogether fighting and proper that we should do this. But in the Lord's sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled have consecrated enough far above our poor power to add, distract. The world, the little note, no longer remember what we say here. It can never forget what they did here. It is for a living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they have fought here, have thus so far noble advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln, November 19, 1863. I chose this speech because it's very similar to relations of what's going on here today. We could all take something from this speech. These men in all different sorts of race lost their lives due to this civil war, fighting for freedom and equality. I think we're still going through that here today. Many speeches, like the Martin Luther King speech, I Have a Dream, and others, also touch on this equality and freedom that we're also looking for in this free nation that we also call free. The United States in general, in this world that we found, was built upon equality and freedom. And at some point, it took a turn. And I feel like Abraham Lincoln, using, not just saying slavery or saying that the nation needs to be free, he chose other words. He found another way to express to all, to touch all, slave owner and slave, soldier and non-soldier, women and men around the nation, that this nation was built off the idea of equality and pushing forward. And unfortunately, there are people who have lost their lives and still are losing their lives for this freedom and equality here in this nation. And I feel like if we all could just take a moment to read some Abraham Lincoln or take some notes from maybe a Martin Luther King, someone who has seen a lot of turmoil and turn in the nation, that maybe we can get back to being free and individual and sticking up for our political freedom and personal fulfillment. Thank you.